a woman.
What?
Get inside and close the door.
My name is Ronald Rutan. I got busted for a string of burglaries and possession of drugs and got 19 years in here. It's the only maximum security prison in Connecticut, so it's where they put all the hardcore prisoners. I'm talking killers and mass murderers. I've survived so far by keeping my head down and making myself useful. I work in the kitchens, recycling cans and boxes. It's a good job. I can get hold of food to sell. It makes my life a lot easier.
Hey, Ronnie.
Ronnie was a very, very quiet guy. He was just trying to stay under the radar so he wasn't the target of anybody.
You got stock?
Yeah, I got some.
He knew a lot of guys in the prison system. I mean, you could get anything you want in Summer State Prison.
It's only the best.
It was just a matter of knowing the right person or the right guard.
I know a lot of people from selling Pruno. Jailhouse wine that I make.
Pleasure.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
So far, I've been safe from the gangs. But I'm not sure for how much longer.
The prison was extremely violent. On a daily basis, you could see gang confrontations, struggles for areas of control. Once or twice a week, there may be a stabbing. The intensity level was pretty close to overwhelming.
I can't stand the thought of spending 19 years of my life in this hellhole. I gotta get out of here. Live my life on a beach. I decide I have to escape. But it ain't gonna be easy.
We had 7 towers, and officers in the towers are instructed to shoot to kill anyone breaching the exterior of that facility. There was one mobile unit. He had both a handgun and a rifle, and he was always moving. As the administrator of the facility, I would be bold enough to say that no one was going to get out of that place.
I start studying the prison routine, looking at who comes in and out. Then I find a weakness. I help the guy load food waste in 55-gallon drums. I notice the guard never checks inside them.
Good to go.
I ask the guy who loads the drums.
So, what do you think the chances are someone could escape in one of those?
Not too good, man. You'd either suffocate or get caught at the gate. Later.
He's probably right, but that doesn't put me off escaping. I figure I need a smarter plan.
Hey.
It leads to me meeting Frank Vandiver.
I heard you talking, man. Serious about getting out?
I've never really talked to him before, so don't know if I can trust him.
Well, you let me know if you are. Frank, by the way. Ron. Nice to meet you, Ron.
Yeah, you too.
You can't trust anyone in prison. but I'm intrigued, so I decide to check him out.
Hey, can you tell me about Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt? Yeah, former stockbroker serving 40 years for murder and fraud.
One of his client's accounts was a little bit light, and he subsequently thought he could rectify that by killing the man.
I also find out that on the outside, Frank was a cross-dresser who liked to wear women's clothes.
It didn't look like that type of person. He was just, you know, what we call a square. You know, he was a guppy thrown into the shark pool.
I don't care if he wears women's clothes. All that matters to me is if he can be trusted. From asking around, I get no red flags, so figure Frank is okay.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good.
But more importantly, I learn he gives stock tips to guards for favors.
This one's looking really good. Well, that's a for sure.
Is it for sure?
And that was one way that he stayed under the radar. He'd give the screws stock tips. They'd give him food. They'd give him passage to different places around the prison that he needed.
Always a pleasure doing business with you. Yeah.
Frank could be my key to getting out. Soon enough, we talk some more.
Hey. So you think about what I said?
Yeah, I thought more about it.
Yeah. Because I'm definitely leaving.
Frank's plan is to get through one of the windows. Then both of the fences. It sounds simple, but raises a lot of questions.
And how do you plan to cut through those?
I think I know a guy who can get some blades.
I decide there and then if he got the hacksaw blades. I'm in. The way Frank gets the blades is pretty smart. One of the guards he gives stock tips to owes him.
Are you doing some exercising, Frankie?
Yeah, a little bit of running.
Frank tricks him into bringing in a pair of sneakers. The guard thinks he's just doing him a favor.
I believe Vanderveer could be manipulative. Many times people make the mistake of underestimating inmates. That's one of the things that you have to just be wary of with Vanderveer.
Got something to show you.
The guard had no idea there were blades hidden inside the shoes.
1 and 2.
Now I know this is gonna happen.
You got a place to keep those?
Yeah, I know a spot.
I hide them in an access hatch in the trash room. The blades will get us through the bars, but we still have to get through 2 fences. Getting hold of something in a maximum security prison that can do that is gonna be tough. First chance I get, I talk to a guy I know.
Some cutters.
He says he might be able to get hold of a pair, but they're gonna cost me $125.
Nice.
It's a lot of cash. People get killed in here for less.
Got the money?
But money is Frank's business.
Yes, I do.
Good job.
The guy doesn't let me down.
Thanks, man.
I don't ask where he got them from. Now I've got to get him back to the kitchens.
The way inmates transported items from one location to another was through the use of food carts. It was one huge problem for me.
Good to go.
But also, that was a common way that we caught inmates with trying to smuggle things.
Hold up. Hands up.
The carts we move food around in don't go through the metal detectors, but are sometimes searched by the guards.
Okay, go. What's wrong? Go.
If the cutters are found, the escape is over.
Come through. Good. Wait up, though.
But then he does something that nearly makes my heart stop. I've hidden wire cutters in food slops. Any minute now, the guard is gonna find them. I'm fighting to look calm. The guard is getting closer and closer to the cutters.
Hey! I got an urgent order for some coffee for the warden. He needs it now!
All right, send him through. Okay, go.
Relief sweeps over me. It was a close call.
Go.
Once I get the cutters into the trash room, I hide them with the blades. I hope they'll get us through the fence. We use our rec time to check out the prison security and come up with a plan. We work out the best time to escape is after the kitchens get quiet in the evening, but before the final count at 9:30. For the escape to work, timing is going to be crucial.
Got a tower here and here to contend with.
We need to cut through the bars of the trash room window, then get into the yard. We gotta run the 40 yards to the perimeter, avoiding the armed guards in the towers. Then we have to cut through 2 fences and avoid being seen by the mobile patrol that continually circles the prison. We still gotta run 5 miles to the town, steal a car, and start heading to New York before the count at 9:30. All of this in just a couple of hours.
Ain't gonna be easy.
But first, we gotta cut through the bars. It's gonna take a while.
Use a knife.
I use a knife to recycle cans. I get it from a guard. The rule is, I'm locked in when I use it. That gives us an hour a night without being disturbed. But there's a problem. There's a window in the door, so guards can see what we're doing. We can also be seen from outside. While I'm working, I have an idea. I take the boxes I'm supposed to recycle and stack them into a wall. Now we've got a blind spot. No one can see what we're doing unless they're outside. So we use a similar trick on the loading dock. We stack drums on top of each other to block the view of the window.
Good enough?
Yeah, that's good.
With the drums stacked, the guards can't see us cutting. Finally, we make a start on the bars.
I'm watching. Let's go.
It's tough going and real noisy.
What's wrong?
It's really loud.
So Frank comes up with a smart idea to use vegetable oil to make the cutting smoother and quieter. It's all going well until I realize our time is nearly up and notice that the cuts are too obvious.
He's gonna see these cuts.
we come up with something.
Come on, hurry up. Give me the peanut butter. Let's go. Let's go. Hide the blades.
I get some peanut butter and smear it on the cut mark. It's a good match. But I'm not sure it'll stand up if a guard looks too closely. In the day, we go about our normal routine. At night, when we get locked into the trash room, we go back and cut a little more. By the second night, we're nearly through the first bar. We can't go all the way through. We'll cut the rest when we leave. While we cut, I ask Frank.
So what are we gonna do when we get to New York?
He tells me there's a guy there that owes him 25 grand.
Get some fake passports, and then we're off to Mexico.
Mexico?
We'll live like kings.
It's nice to imagine.
Sand beaches? Women?
Then, disaster strikes. Before I've got a chance to react, the guard opens the door.
Room search.
My heart nearly stops. This don't look good. We're cutting the window bars when there's a room search. I need to stop the guards from seeing what's going on behind the stack of boxes.
Let me get some of this out of your way here, guys.
Move up, step aside.
But they walk into the room. I turn to Frank and can't believe my eyes. Frank's covered the window with a piece of cardboard, but we're not in the clear yet. They begin to search the room. The guard walks towards the window. If he removes the cardboard, you'll see the cuts in the bars.
Bruno! He's got Bruno.
A guard has found a jug of prison liquor.
Where'd you get this?
Must have come in with the trash.
He takes it and leaves. Over the next week, we spent every night cutting until we were almost through all of the bars. Finally, it's breakout night. Starts out business as usual.
There you go.
The guard brings the tools for our regular evening shift. As soon as he's gone, we tackle the last section of the bars.
This could take a while.
It's taking far longer than we thought. But then we bust through. Just before the guard returns to take back the tools. Now it's time to go. We gotta move fast. The last count is in just an hour 30.
Come on.
I take a couple pieces of pipe to use as extensions on the cutters to give them more leverage. I bend the final bar upwards and out. I go first and wait for Frank. We can be discovered at any moment. We can't do much about it now. We're committed. We duck down and wait for the light to pass. We make a run for it. I keep low and run as fast as I can. My heart is beating hard. I put the pipes on the handles.
Just go.
I ease the jaws of the cutters around the first link and squeeze as hard as I can.
Come on.
I can't believe it.
They're useless.
It won't cut. I try again.
They won't cut.
It's useless. It's the mobile patrol. If we're spotted, it's all over. We lie in wait. When we look up, he's driven right past.
Twisting, that's it.
It seems hopeless.
Twisting it back and forth. I don't know.
The cutters are blunt, and the fence gauge is tougher than it looks. We've got less than an hour to get through both fences before the count. I've got to think fast. I put the handle of the cutters on the ground and use my weight to try and cut it. It sounds like a firecracker going off. Someone must have heard it. Sure enough, a couple of seconds after the pop, a guard comes out. He must be looking right at us. But he's just taking a break and goes back inside.
Just give it to me. Give it to me.
It's taking far too long. It's now nearly 9 o'clock. There's only half an hour until count, and 2 fences to cut through. Then Frank makes a breakthrough. He twists the cutters around the link while squeezing as hard as he can.
There we go.
It snaps.
Back and forth, back and forth.
As we cut more links, I'm starting to get more confident. Then we hear the PA sound that rec time is over.
Recreation time is over. All inmates to return to their blocks immediately.
We've got like 20 minutes left.
We're not going to make it. We keep cutting. Finally, we're through. It's a great feeling. But there's still another fence to go.
You doing this?
No way.
We're both real nervous now. Then we hear the worst sound possible. They're calling count.
The count has to clear. Each person must be accounted for. And if the count doesn't clear, that inmate has got a lot of explaining to do.
We've cut through the first prison fence, but we've run out of time for the second. In 10 minutes, the head count will be over, and they'll realize we're missing. We try and see a way to climb over it.
Oh, it's way too much razor wire. No way.
We can't get over that.
I'm about to tell Frank we should turn back when he says,
Okay, give me the cutters.
He leans over the razor wire at the bottom of the fence. It cuts, no problem.
Way easier.
It's a much thinner gauge wire, but we still don't have much time.
Come on.
In less than 5 minutes, we have a hole big enough to jump through. I help Frank through the hole. Then I dive through. I'm free.
The count didn't clear. That's when the thought comes up, hey, what's going on here?
They came into the block where Ronnie was and where I lived, and they went down to his cell. They popped the door. They went in and they're looking under the mattress. And of course, the entire block erupted. And, hey, where's Ronnie? Hey, he's not under that mattress. Check this cell over here. They locked the place down, and of course the guards were in a panic. I mean, they were running everywhere. So at this point, I knew those guys are gone.
My pager went off, and it was a signal to contact the facility immediately.
What's going on?
They informed me that we had a possible escape.
So what happened?
The impact of that news is pretty devastating. Well, I informed them to initiate escape procedures, and I was on my way.
They'll be looking for us by now. We've still got to run 5 miles to a nearby town where we're going to try and steal a car. I wish I hadn't smoked all those cigarettes.
Came to the facility, and one of our K-9 units had been activated. Within minutes, we had detected a trail and was on that trail. We were really expecting to apprehend them before they could actually get out of the area.
We just keep running. But after a couple of miles, I know we're in trouble.
Yes, the cops are getting close.
If we don't find a car soon, it's all over.
This way.
What is the wood?
Warden Tillman here. Go ahead.
Our K-9 supervisor communicated to me that a unit seemed to be pretty hot on the trail.
They've gone into the woods. We're not far behind.
This way.
I'm thinking to myself, we got these guys. We'll have them back within an hour or so.
As we get to the edge of town, things go from bad to worse.
It's too busy. You won't be able to steal a car.
What do you suggest we do then?
I say we keep running. Warden Tillman here.
When the K-9 officers called, it really was a big deal, a real big deal.
Did you get them?
It's bad news, boss. The dogs have lost the scent.
What? We're at a highway near Enfield.
I was informed that they had lost the trail at a major highway crossing.
Okay.
Immediately, I started to contact state police, local police. This is just beyond me, and I wish there was something else I could do to get them back.
Around 11 o'clock, I received a phone call from my supervisor.
Hello?
As quickly as possible, I arrived at the command post at Summers Prison.
Out of here.
You got a space I can work out of?
I was disappointed to learn that they lost the scent. So at that point, primary focus is to lock down the area as best as possible. We do this by setting perimeters as well as roadblocks in hopes of finding them within that secured area. These individuals are dangerous, and the fear is always that someone else will become a victim unless we capture them right away.
Cops are everywhere. It's going to be getting light soon, and I'm exhausted. We've got to get off the streets. We find an office without an alarm and break into it. We search the place for money. But find nothing. Things are looking desperate.
Look, let's just get some sleep.
Ronnie! Get in here!
The next morning, Frank's in a panic.
Look at this. We got 2 cleaners coming in. You take one, I take one.
I'm afraid what Frank will do. I'm just a burglar who had a drug problem. I don't want to hurt anyone.
No, I see we run.
No way. Let's do this. Get in fast and close the door.
We step out, holding knives.
Don't look at me. Give me the keys to the truck.
All right.
I'm afraid Frank will kill them. So I get him out of the way quick.
Both of you get in the office now. Go on!
Don't look at him! Move! Move!
I get the man to empty his pockets. He doesn't have any money. I cut the cords to the window blinds and tie them up. I'm not happy about what I've done, but I'm relieved that no one is hurt.
New York, here we come.
Mike Gillard?
I received a phone call from Enfield Police Department indicating that a burglary and robbery had occurred that was perpetrated by Vanderveer and Rutan.
I'm on it.
They're becoming more desperate, and you're concerned what else they could do. Unfortunately, these people interrupted them.
They saw your vehicle, correct?
Yeah. And they've gotten away in a vehicle. Now, it's good and bad. It gives us something to look for, number one, but on the other hand, we know that they could be going anywhere.
We pass the toll in New York on I-95 and keep going into New Jersey. We don't see a single police car. Even Frank is smiling. It feels good. I see a fast food joint, so pull in.
What do you want? Burger, fries.
I can't believe what I see.
No.
What?
The cops. Right behind us.
I'm blocked in, and I got nowhere to run. Looks like the game is up. We've only been on the run for a day, and the cops just pulled up behind us.
Busted. We're done.
We're both panicking. I see the cop open his door.
He's getting out. He's getting out of the car. Shh.
I can't believe it's gonna end here. Then the cop does something I don't expect. He walks right past and into the burger place.
Let's get the hell out of here.
We stop at a shopping mall and steal a license plate for the truck.
Got it? Most.
We're in a big city with a clean plate. Now all we need is the money for the passports. and we'll be on our way to Mexico.
I don't know anything from your end. So far, nothing.
The investigation was going nowhere. But we know that in a previous crime that Van de Veer had committed, he was alleged to have been wearing women's clothing.
Can you put the word out, be on the lookout for a male matching Van de Veer's description, dressed as a woman?
Missing Frank Van de Veer serving time for murder, and Ronald Rutan sentenced for burglary and larceny.
They were able to cut out of a building and then cut their way through 2 fences.
Van de Veer, who's still at large, is a transvestite.
Van de Veer is a transvestite.
A transvestite.
Can you describe him or her?
We received certainly well over 100 leads regarding the whereabouts of Van de Veer and Rutan. Unfortunately, none of those leads were going anywhere. And I'm feeling a little frustrated that we haven't been able to capture them yet. And then I suddenly get a phone call from a manager of a New York motel, and she believes that Van de Veer is actually staying at her motel. The first thing she tells me is that he's described himself as a financial advisor. Now, I knew that Frank Van de Veer's background was as a stockbroker, so that intrigued me a little bit.
What did you put down for an address?
When she gave me the address, I noticed that the house number of the address he gave was the exact same house number of another relative that I knew was his.
You said 102.
It looked to me to be extremely promising, and certainly the most promising lead we'd had up to that point. She indicates to me he was to return later on that afternoon.
Jesus, that's in less than 2 hours. Give me the FBI, please.
I immediately made a phone call to FBI.
There's no way I can get out there before then. Is there any way you can send some of your guys?
Van de Veer was convicted on murder charges. That tells me that if cornered again, you may be able to kill again.
Kleber.
Cleve.
DeFonso.
I happened to get a hold of a couple of our agents down in the New York office.
He's where?
I got a hold of Don Kleber, and I say,
I need you to fly over there.
oh, yeah?
How long we got?
He's expected 3 p.m.
Van de Veer was due back later that afternoon. So we were now under the gun to get there before he would show up at the hotel. Let's roll. Based on his pedigree, we expected that he was armed and dangerous.
We're gonna need backup.
We're hanging out in the mall when Frank says,
I want to get back to the motel. I'm gonna make a call.
I don't ask what it's about.
Let's go.
I've given up hoping we're going to get the money. The only reason I'm still with him is that I've nowhere else to go.
When we got to the hotel, my partner, Agent Higgins, and myself went in and interviewed the manager of the hotel.
This gentleman right here.
Yes, this is the man I called about.
Are you sure?
Yes, he's staying here.
She positively identified the photo, and it was about that time that the 2 agents from Newburgh arrived on the scene. We gave them the key and instructed them to go and take a look around.
I have a positive ID on Van de Veer in the room. We got documents with his name on it.
Okay, sit tight, and when we see him, we will radio over to you. Over.
Copy.
We had no more than 10 or 15 minutes from the scheduled 3 o'clock where Van de Veer was going to be back. There was no question in our mind that we had the fugitive, Van de Veer, at the hotel. He was due back at 3 o'clock. There were some cars there that we could hide amongst and have a good view of the entrance to the hotel. We were putting on our vests, and it was right at 3 o'clock, and Van de Veer showed up.
Will you look at that? I do not believe it.
He was the only person in the car that we could see, and he just drove very slowly, nonchalant, and went right by us.
We get a positive ID on Van de Veer. He is here in the lot. Repeat, he is hot here in the lot. Copy?
Copy that.
We looked at each other and laughed and thought, can't believe this is the only fugitive who's ever shown up on time. We pulled out and followed the truck down to the back building.
We're driving up to our room when I get a feeling that something's wrong. I see a car with some guys in it. I tell Frank I think they're cops.
Take it easy.
He don't believe me.
Getting paranoid.
Vandiver is approaching now. Do you copy?
Copy that.
By the time we came around the last building, they had exited the truck. They're both here. It's one of those, oh my God, moments. That's the first time we realized we had both Vandiver and Rutan.
FBI, get down!
Cops. Guns. I panic.
Get down!
Go, go, hold it right there.
Rutan took off running to my right, and Vandiver took off running to the left. The two agents inside instinctively took off after Rutan. Agent Higgins and myself took off after Vandiver. We got a lot going on at this moment, and it's all gone pandemonium.
I try and lose him. The highway's just around the corner.
Vandiver was at the top of the fence, and he dropped to the ground just in front of us.
Stop right there, it's over.
He was a wild animal being chased.
Stop.
I need backup now. I'm on route 10, in pursuit.
I'm not waiting around. I cut into an alley. But they're right on top of me.
When I came around the corner, it was the oddest sight I've ever seen. Another agent had pinned Rutan with his car.
The cop jumps out with a gun and aims it at me. That's when I know it's all over.
When we handcuffed Rutan, he was compliant. He'd given up.
Get him up! Get him up! Come on!
It was all over. There was no fight left in him. We were grateful for that.
I've had 16 days of freedom. But I guess this is the end of the road. And all I can think is, was it worth it? I should have just done my time. I don't know when I'll see Frank again.
One of the bits of information that Rutan provided was that they had been staying at different malls, and New York State Police waited in the hopes that Vandiver would return.
Thursday, the police siege on Spring Valley began. A massive manhunt for Vandiver was organized after he eluded FBI agents who tried to arrest him at the Econo Lodge. He was finally caught Saturday at a shopping mall in Paramus, New Jersey, 20 miles away.
We were relieved. We were glad that no civilian had gotten hurt and that no law enforcement officer had gotten hurt.
If someone was seriously injured, I don't know, how I live with myself. So to know that they were back in custody was absolutely great for me. The message that the inmates received out of this, and the message that is sent to them, is that, you may leave, you may escape, but we'll get you.